In the last episode, we saw that due to some circumstances, Jia Han and Jin Minchul got married. They have come abroad for honeymoon away from their families. On the second day of their honeymoon, Jia was sitting on her bed with clothes scattered around her, confused about what she should wear to look good. She was looking for something that was fashionable and attractive enough, and at the same time it should be comfortable and mundane also. Suddenly, Jin comes out of the washroom saying, "I am ready. How much time do you need Jia to get ready?" Jia turns to Jin and yells angrily at him because Jin is dressed so poorly. She asks him what kind of man is he? Is he from the same planet or some kind of alien? And the worst thing about Jin is that he doesn't know what the problem is. She can't believe her eyes that he is wearing socks with sandals. Jin replied, "What difference does it make? You don't know how comfortable these clothes are, and another thing, no one is going to notice them." Jia says, "I have already noticed them. Everyone will definitely notice them, and I can't see you like this." Jia holds his ear and takes him for shopping. After reaching the mall, Jin selects some clothes for himself while Jia stands outside the changing room while Jin tries on clothes. Jia thinks she has brought him for shopping, but she also has no knowledge of fashion either. Jia hasn't stepped out of the house for many years, but she is confident that whatever clothes Jin wears now will look better on him than what he wore before. Then after a while, Jin comes out of the changing room and asks her how he is looking. This time, Jin comes wearing even worse clothes than before. Seeing them, Jia gets very angry. She curses herself and says how stupid she is to have brought a man for shopping who has no manners of dressing up. Jia angrily says, "If you are a human, then at least learn to dress like humans." And then she quickly brings some clothes she likes and gives them to Jin. After some time, he comes out wearing them. Jin looks at himself after wearing Jia's choice of clothes and asks her if he looks good or not. Jia confidently replied that, "Yes, you look great. You should wear such clothes. And if you listen to me, you will always look good." Hearing this, Jin goes to the billing counter and asks for 7 sets of the same clothes he is wearing. Seeing Jin's these stupid actions, Jia scratches her hair and says, "Stop it, you crazy man." Jin asked her, "But you said I look good in these clothes, so I am buying them." Jia sighed and said, "What kind of life are you living? I like them, but you don't need to buy the same sets of clothes." Jia asks Jin to wait there while she goes to get more clothes for him. When Jia is looking for clothes for him, then Jin's eyes fall on Lady's swimming suit. So he asks Jia, "We have that boat ride next, right? Since you have chosen clothes for me, I will choose a swimsuit for you." She nodded, blushed, and gave her consent. And then Jin also bought swimsuit for Jia in return. Both of them leave for the beach after shopping. While going on the way, Jia keeps thinking that just like Jin wore the clothes selected by her, she will have to wear the suit selected by him. She looks at Jin as they walk and wishes that he had picked out a nice swimsuit for her too. After reaching at the beach, the two go to their respective changing room and wear swimsuits chosen by Jin. Jia was still skeptical about the clothes as she knew her husband's choice, which is always unusual, but she took the risk and tried them. As soon as Jia opens her bag, she is stunned to see the clothes. She spends some time thinking about the kind of person her husband is, but then finally comes out wearing those clothes because she has no other choice. As soon as Jin saw Jia wearing a full-body swimsuit, he asked, "Do you like it? These are nice, right?" Jia was very angry with Jin because he chose those instead of choosing a 2-piece swimsuit, and now everyone was making their fun. Seeing Jia getting angry, Jin explains his viewpoint that he was looking through the catalog earlier, and this suddenly came across to him that it will keep us safe even in cold water and reduce water friction, so it will be really comfortable to walk around in. Jin feels very proud of his choice, as if he has accomplished something great. Hearing this, Jia thinks she has married a madman. Jia lovingly tells him that, "Jin, we are married and on our honeymoon. Just look around and see what kind of clothes people are wearing. At least you could copy them." Pointing at the people roaming around there, she says, "How different we are looking from these people. Why do you think everyone is wearing things like that?" Jin replies quickly and says, "Perhaps those people might be feeling hot." Jia responds to him, "You are absolutely right, Jin. People here have taken off their clothes because it is so hot. I think we are the only people who are not doing that." Jia screams in anger as she cannot express how embarrassed she feels, and how will she enjoy the beach now when everyone is staring at her. But still, Jin somehow convinces her and takes her for a boat ride. While the two of them are enjoying the boat ride, Gia realizes that Jin's choice may not look good, but it is comfortable to wear, protecting them from the cold water and any skin rashes. After the boat ride, both of them have lunch on the beach and take a lot of photos for memories. They spend their whole day in these activities, and then in the evening, both of them go for a walk on the beach. After walking for a while, Gia sits down on the sand and checks her phone to see what else they can do to make their trip more memorable. Seeing Gia sitting there, Jin thought she might be tired, so he asked if she wanted to go back to the hotel to rest. Gia yells at him and asks, "Do you know how expensive this trip is? If we want to get the most out of every penny, we have to do a lot." While she was telling him all this, Jin noticed that Gia's sandal straps had caused a wound on her foot, so he asks about it. Gia says, "Please do not bother, it's nothing. It is just a mark caused by my heels." Jin insists her that this wound might hurt her, and then he sits down and asks Gia to climb on his back. She gets surprised by his concern for her. Jin asks her again, "It hurts by just looking at it, so don't think too much. Just climb up." With a little hesitation, Gia climbs on his back. Jin grabbed Gia's sandals and lifted her on his back and walked towards the hotel. Gia, sitting on his back, politely asks, "Am I not heavy?" Jin replies, "Honestly, you are really not heavy. It would be a good workout for me." Hearing Jin's words, Gia thought he was making fun of her, so she tried to strangle him in a playful way. Jin urged her to loosen her grip and said, "I'm serious. You have just the right amount of weight for a good workout. I'd say you're almost perfect." Then Gia slowly loosens her grip and rests her chin on his shoulder and starts thinking, how long has it been since she have been on someone's back? Being on someone else's back is more comforting than she thought. Suddenly, Gia takes her mouth near his ear and blows air into it, due to which Jin stumbles, and he asks her, "What are you doing? If you have any complaint, then tell me. Don't bother me like this." Gia smiles slightly but doesn't reply to him, and thus both of them reach their hotel fighting and flirting. After reaching the hotel at night, Gia lies down on her bed and starts checking her phone to see the photos she has taken. Then Gia suddenly remembers that a friend of hers who got married 5 years ago had told her that couples fight a lot during their honeymoon. Then Gia thinks it's only been a few days since they got married. Forget the fights. They are having a lot of fun together. She knows she is having a great time, and it has been a while since she had this kind of fun. She was so happy that she wanted to stay there forever. Then suddenly the moment comes to Gia's mind when Jin asked her to climb on his back. This moment was very special for her because something like this had never happened to her before. She feels shy thinking about this moment and hides her face in the pillow. Gia says to herself, "How casually he asked me to sit on his back. At that moment, I thought my heart would explode. And I don't understand why his back was so broad. He was quite warm also." And then slowly, Gia pulls her face out of the pillow and looks at Jin, who is sleeping on the bed next to her. Gia is surprised to see how Jin is sleeping, as he is sleeping with his eyes blindfolded and drooling continuously from his mouth. Whatever respect or like Gia has developed for Jin, it all diminishes and reaches a very low level when she sees him sleeping. Then she lies down, consoling herself and thinking that her honeymoon was quite good, and quietly falls asleep. Thanks for watching, and comment the best part of this video.